How do you find love, marriage, whether you're going to have children in your birth chart? Let's break it down. First, we're going to talk about love and marriage. Now, remember, I'm Holly from Askhollyhall.com, and I'm a Sidereal astrologer, constellational astrology. It is based on where the constellations and the planets are actually right now and not on Western astrology, because Western astrology is no longer accurate. So if you're already studying Western astrology or you had that chart done, then this will enhance the chart that you've already received. That's a whole nother story. So let's take a look at love. There are several factors when it comes to finding love in an astrology chart. The first one is to understand what love is. Okay. It is not about, it's not about a pitter patter in your heart center. Okay. It's not about, oh, I get so excited when I'm around that person. And it's definitely not about chemistry, whether we have chemistry. If we hit it off right away, then it's a thing. If we don't hit it off right away, then bye-bye. If you follow any of those sort of rules that have been Hollywood into us, then you're probably not going to find true love. Sorry. But if you understand the version of unique love that you hold within the essence of who you are, and you find someone who allows you to express that, that means it flows with ease for you to be able to express love. And here's the kicker, learn to advance that state of love that you already understand. Third one, which is the one that's probably more disappointing, is if you have limiting beliefs around love that is holding you back from finding true unconditional love, then you're going to find somebody who's going to squeeze that out of you. That's not easy, nor is it fun. However, the end result is very beneficial. So you want to look at Venus and Mars. Oh, please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. I see so many people are watching my videos, but they're not liking it. They're not subscribing it. If you really want to help me, that's what you could do for me. Thank you. Venus is what you love, how you love, and your personal interests. Mars is what action do you take to lure that love towards you? It might be love of a job, love of a person, might be a personal interest, love of buying a real estate, buying a house, love of your children, and it might even be around love with your personal family members, lack of or having. To bring more love, maybe from your parents or that sister-in-law that you never really got along with. The reason we stick around those relationships longer is because we do want to find that connection with them. So we take a look at Venus. Now, if you've got an earth sign in Venus, and then you're looking at Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, then you're looking for a love, whether it's your job or a personal relationship, of somebody that is grounded. You're grounded. You're solid, you're a caretaker, you're a problem solver, you serve, and you want to be able to not simply care for them, but help them solve their problems, maybe even take control around it. And it's important that they are also grounded, practical, rational, not level-headed, don't have their heads in the clouds, so to speak. But hey, they might have like a Libra, Mercury, right? And that's a whole nother story. That's around communication. And then how do you lure them in? Well, if you're grounded, earth signs, then you're going to lure them in by showing them how much you can serve them, help them solve their problems, how practical and rational you are and logical and down to earth. You're not going to jump the gun. You're not going to jump into the relationship. You're going to take it very seriously. I'm going to seriously consider this connection that we have before I jump in. But if you're a fire sign, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, well, then what? You're adventurous, you're feisty, you're fun, you're in the moment, spontaneous, you're in a hurry. There's no holding back. You say it as it is. You call it as it is. And therefore, you're looking for someone who can take it, who can fight back if they don't like what you're saying, who is also adventurous, who's spontaneous as well, and doesn't mind doing things at the last minute. And they don't mind that you can get fiery and upset in the moment, but that you simmer off eventually. They don't take it personally. They don't try to problem solve it as a grounded earth person might, because you're over it in a heartbeat. You don't stay angry or bitter or hurt for too long. In most cases, okay, it really depends on all the rest of your chart. This is Venus and this is Mars. I'm not talking about sun signs or moon signs, etc. This is so when you have that fiery, you want somebody who's got that fiery energy and that's what you're interested in. But what if your Mars is in a fire sign? Then you let them know immediately. You really don't have patience for, let's see if it's going to work out. You want to know right away, is this the one? Is this going to last? Are you interested in what Are you in a hurry? I'm in a hurry. Are you in a hurry? And sometimes that can be detrimental in a love relationship because you may get the fire in somebody else's chart and they may be impatient with your impatience, right? But hey, you're fun, you're the life of the party, and you make sure that there's playfulness and romance in the relationship. And if there isn't, you get bored easily and you're out of here. Or you might just, you're as independent as fiery signs are, you might just try to figure out how to have fun on your own. And that can be problematic in the relationship in the long run as well. But if you've got somebody who needs to be boosted up, who needs to get some fire in them, who takes life a little bit too serious, they might appreciate that. And then we got air signs, right? And that is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Well, you're kind of in your head. You're logical. You're rational. Not always as flexible. However, you're knowledgeable and you want to have decent conversations with the person that you love. If your Venus is in an air sign, you have to be able to have intellectual conversations about everything and anything spontaneously. You don't always need to be right, but you are curious about what the right answer is. So you want somebody who's not going to take that too personally. In fact, they're kind of curious too. Yeah, look it up, Google it. Let's see who's right, who's wrong. Freedom is extremely important as well. So that freedom to be an individual, to be unique, to be different, and to change on a dime, because you do get a little bit bored easily as well. Now, you could be easygoing or make it quite difficult to make a decision. And even though you may refer to a conversation with somebody to help create the decision process for you, you really don't want somebody telling you what to do. If you do, then you may become detached or a little bit too complacent. And this can be difficult in a relationship in the long run too, because they don't really know who you are, because you're not stating your power. You're not telling your truth. And usually what happens is there's a distance or a detachment for a while after arguing about who's right and who's wrong for years. And then there's a tendency to go, bye-bye. And they're like, wait, what? I thought we were fine. No, not really. Okay. So an air sign person is definitely enjoyable to be around if you're ready to sort of philosophize life and have the freedom to express yourself and allow them to express themselves. Now, how do you attract somebody if you've got air in your Mars? You know, your Mars is an air sign, or even in any of the air houses as well, which we can get into another time. The way that you attract them is by showing them your intelligence, how you communicate, how you're quite eclectic and eccentric around talking about different types of subjects. You may be easygoing, agreeable. You allow them to communicate. You allow them to talk. Okay. Now, depending, Geminis can definitely get to be a bit too jibber-jabbery in storytelling and not allow the other person to talk to as much. And that really depends on what else is going on in your chart. If it's negatively afflicted, like it's a square to maybe a Virgo moon, and you're emotionally kind of nervous about meeting that person, you may overshare and over storytell and over talk, but that's a whole nother issue. You want to be playful. You want to be fun as well. Very close to like a fire sign. But what if you're a water sign? Oh, water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You're emotional. You want an emotional, vulnerable connection with somebody. You want them to share their emotions with you, but not be overly needy, not suffocating. Because what will happen is you will give to them. All their needs will be met emotionally, physically, psychologically. And then you'll start having resentment because your needs aren't being met, because you attracted a needy partner. But you need to be needed. And you love to psychoanalyze. And you will suffer in silence. So you got to be very careful around that. You do like your alone time. You like your quiet. You like your homey, cozy domain. And you invite anyone to come in and share that with you. Quite welcoming that way to a degree. But as long as they allow you to have your alone time whenever you need it, that's extremely important to you. Now, what if your Mars is in a water sign? How do you attract a partner? You tend to their needs. You feel bad for them. You go, oh, that's so sad. Even if they're telling you something logical and practical, like, I lost my job, but what the heck? I didn't like it anyways. And you'd be like, oh, are you okay? Right? You really want to pamper them. And they might be an earth sign or an air sign. They're like, I'm fine. And your needs aren't being met because they don't need you. But again, you don't want to be overly needy because this can be very detrimental to the relationship. And you want your needs to be, you want it to be reciprocated. You may not show that at first, but in the long run, you do. So there you go. Now, how do I predict when love is going to come into the life? When love is going to be enhanced in your life, and when you are going to fall out of love or finally cut the cord around love? Or how can we save that love relationship? How can we enhance it, make it better, and improve on it? Whether it's with a loved one, a friend, a partner, a colleague, or child, or even your parents. Then I take a look at when there's afflictions to the chart. So is Saturn Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, is it hitting a square in opposition to your Venus or your Mars? Then there's going to be a short period of time, anywhere from a year to 2 years, in which you're going to be working on the love. And it really isn't about working on the love between you and that other person. It's working on the love in here. It's very important to understand as well. Everyone is a mirror and a reflection of who we are. And then if we're looking at when am I going to find love? When is it going to happen? When are we going to get happier? When are things going to work out? Of course, there's still a backstory to how you can make that happen. You want to work, you want to co-create with this energy. But then I look for trines, what's called trines and sextiles with Venus and Mars, with the other planets as well. And usually like Saturn is like, we're going to settle down. Or if it's in the 4th or the 10th house, this is a settling down. This is a long-term relationship. Jupiter can be fleeting. You know, it's fun, it's playful, but it didn't really last that long. Uranus can be the same thing. And it always ends up, if it's a positive aspect, it ends up in friendship. It ends up with a mutual ending, if there is an ending. If there's not an ending, it means it happens really fast, super fast. Like we hook up really fast, we connect really fast, and we get married, or we settle down in each other's home, in a home very quickly. Neptune is more of a spiritual connection with that person. It's kind of a karmic bond, and Pluto as well. If this is in the 12th house, then if you've got Venus and Mars, this is my own interpretation, in the 12th house, then most likely you have at least 2 karmic relationships that you have to connect with, whether it's positive or challenging. Challenging always ends up positive. In my astrology, everything ends up positive. Then that really depends on what's afflicting those 2 charts as well. We look at the ascendant, we look at the 7th house. There's so many other aspects that we can look at, but that's the basis of Mars and Venus. Namaste.